After mourning his son for 22 years, Yaakov finally gets the news that his son Yosef is still alive. What's Yaakov's initial reaction? Says the pasuk, Vayafag libo. His heart rejected the news. He couldn't believe it. Is that the response that we expect? He should be rejoicing. He should be happy. He doesn't believe his sons. Would his sons play such a cruel trick? You know that son that you've been mourning for 22 years, he's still alive? If he's not, Yaakov's going to find out. Why didn't he believe it? Why did he reject this news? And the commentaries explain that Yaakov believed that Yosef was still alive. What did he reject? What did the brothers come back and tell him? They said, V'chi moshel b'Mitzrayim. He's a ruler, he's a king of Mitzrayim. And Yaakov said, Oi! He's a king in Mitzrayim. What happened to his Judaism? What happened to his Yiddishkeit? What happened to his service of Hashem, his Torah learning? If he's a king in Mitzrayim, he must have completely rejected everything. Yaakov just couldn't accept that. He was alive, but what kind of life is that? And then the pasuk says that Yaakov saw the wagons. V'atechi ruach Yaakov. His spirits became back alive. What did the wagons represent? So the commentaries explain that the wagons represented the last halacha, the last bit of Torah that they were learning. Yosef was sending a message to Yaakov about the last bit of Torah they were learning. It was 22 years ago, but he still remembered what they were learning, and that was on top of his mind. Yaakov said, if Yosef's sending me a message about his Torah learning, then obviously he's still involved in Torah. That's still on the top of his mind. V'atechi ruach Yaakov. His ruach, his spirit, his neshama came back to life. He said, not only is my son alive, he's still a Torah observant person. He's still a person who follows Hashem. He's still a person who cares about the Torah and follows it. And then Yaakov was satisfied. For Yaakov, his whole life was about Torah. And if Yosef was alive, but he was no longer following Hashem, he rejected the ways which Yaakov had told him. So then, in a way, the whole news didn't matter. But once he learned that Yosef was still a Yiras Hashem, was still a God-fearing person, even after 22 years away from his father's house, then Yaakov, V'atechi ruach Yaakov, his spirit was alive. For Yaakov, his whole life was Torah. His whole life was about Yiras Hashem. There's many things going on in our life, but let's never forget what our main focus, what our main priority has to be. Our main priority and our main focus always has to be our avodas Hashem, our service of Hashem. Have a great, great Shabbos.